What are the unrealistical and unreasonable standards that you think women hold most men to? Being emotional but at the same time hard as a rock, being a provider and giving her a certain kind of lifestyle without being a complete workaholic, reading her mind. Reading her mind, yes. I always say please just tell me what you want and say what you mean. I'm happy to help you or do something you want, but you gotta say something. Lots of pressure on us to make the moves. We're still, generally speaking, supposed to ask her out, go for that first kiss with confidence, and take the lead in the bedroom. The reason I broke up with my last girlfriend was because she constantly complained that she is bored if I didn't entertain her somehow. Sometimes I just want to watch something, play a game, read or be for myself, and to try making me feel bad about it was an absolute no-go eventually. I'm a funny guy with a lot of humor, but I'm neither a clown nor an entertainer, which is why I've got extremely picky with my girls after her. Some women have pretty skewed perceptions when it comes to the male body, and how much work it takes to get there. I've seen women post pictures of Zac Efron and Jason Momoa with titles about their new dad bod look, even though they've still got an ab column, square pecs, and general muscle separation all over their body. And then they say stuff like, I prefer a natural-looking guy, I don't like too many muscles, which is fine, but then when they show you what they consider natural fit to be, and it's still some guy with less than 10% body fat who hits the gym 6 days a week and has crazy diet discipline. That look doesn't just happen by accident, LMAO. So many of them expect a guy to be fit, while spending the time with them watching Netflix and eating junk food. That men have to kill the household pests. I hate spiders. My boyfriend and I are both terrified of spiders. We work together to kill them. I think it's nice, neither of us has to face them alone. One thing that's always bothered me is that we're expected to have attractive bodies, but none of the work involved. I've been into powerlifting for a while and I'm pretty jacked as a result. Women want a jacked guy, but they want a jacked guy that never spends time in the gym, never talks about the gym, and bakes and eats junk food with her. They want the result of the hard work with none of the hard work attached. I think women should quit expecting men to be the source of their happiness, just like men should quit expecting women to be their personal porn star. Of course you should want to be happy with your man, but don't expect it to be his full-time job to make you happy. Everyone is responsible for their own happiness in life. If you're not happy, then fix it yourself. Don't just be miserable all the time because he's not catering to your every emotion. He has his own happiness to work on, and when you put your happiness expectancy on his plate, then it overloads him. This is why most relationships fail these days, because people have become so selfish. Instead of focusing on wanting to make your partner happy, everyone expects their own happiness is tended to first. Communication. Expect men to talk to them when something is wrong, and then when asked them what's wrong, it's nothing or I'm fine, and that's considered acceptable or normal. Men being good with kids is seen as creepy and predatory, yet for women it's natural. The eventual my money is my money, your money is our money attitude. Very quickly in most relationships my friends and I have been, the man is paying for more than everything. Many times the household budget is shared, but luxury items, emergency items, and expectations for elaborate gifts and experiences is pretty much on the man to provide and source. And it's considered smart for a woman to keep her own slush fund away from her BF or husband in case of emergency, but if a man has a slush fund or spending his own, he's doing something nefarious, having a midlife crisis, and is being irresponsible or holding out on her. An oddly specific one, the alarmingly low standard that women will have to immediately dismiss a guy as gay. It's a double standard here, because this is a very progressive/liberal state where everyone espouses LGBT/sex positivity, but women will often dismiss a guy they don't find attractive or who doesn't commit to the stereotypical chiseled, stoic, tall masculine norm as gay, like that's still a pejorative. Some more of the usual suspects. I want a good, honest man who is truthful in his intentions and ready to be vulnerable and genuine with me, despite the fact that I am not in any position to handle anyone else's baggage. I'm a smart, independent, gainfully employed, empowered woman, which is why you must pay for at least the first few dates. Oh please, men can't please me. Most men are terrible at sex, which is why I still just lie there and expect him to figure out what I enjoy rather than communicating. I am above the dating app cesspit, and ladies, you'll never meet good men there, which is why I continue to sleep with men from Tinder who seduce me with memes, canned pickup lines, and emojis. Just as a guy, 25 male, currently using dating apps, I have noticed a few things both from my own experience and my friends. 1. Girls seem to expect guys to carry the conversation all the time. I have seen it with my girlfriends who are looking for relationships. They will never ask many questions to the guy and then seem upset the only guys they meet up with are either lying to get laid or desperate. In my case, it gets quite tiring trying to ideally get in a relationship when a lot of women are like that. Ultimately, how can I be excited to date you if I'm doing all the heavy lifting and you're not putting any effort in? 2. Women are outperforming men in college attendance and outearn men in their 20s, but a lot of them seem to still be looking for a guy more accomplished than them. There's simply not enough guys who tick those boxes to go around, and of my friends that do tick those boxes can play the field. I can get not wanting to be a mommy to an unemployed guy, but it is kind of unrealistic nowadays. I really don't get the height deal. It's not our control to be under 6 feet. Double standards. All women are beautiful / a man shorter than 6 feet, yikes. A slight dad bod, yikes. Feminism, empowerment, women don't need men, etc. / can't hold a conversation, but it's up to the men to be interesting. Don't need men, but if you don't pay for stuff during dates, you're cheap. Don't take shit from men anymore. Not even harmless jokes / say sexist stuff towards men all day long, and if a guy dares to say anything, OMG you're such a pig. Don't judge us, we're all different / OMG men are all the same. I'm all for female empowerment. You deserve equal pay, equal opportunities, and certainly to not be harassed by stupid guys, and that goes for everyone, regardless of gender, ethnicity, or sexual orientation. But please, get your shit together, you can't have it both ways. I don't give a damn if I get wrecked for this, honestly. I'm not putting all women in the same bag, but that's my experience as an European 30yo. That men have to put in all the work when dating. I've lost count of the girls I've been dating that wouldn't look to set up dates or organizing dinners out for fear that they might seem boring or choose the wrong place. It seems crazy to me that you may like someone but never set up a date because internally you can't be bothered or there is something socially stopping you. Also, most women think men should be always up for sex and just expect us to get hard just because they are naked. You're not that special. If you're messy drunk or are endlessly tugging away at it, that's not going to turn me on. Make some hot noises or dirty talk. Any failure in sex is seen as a man's fault. I've actually had a girl tell me I am not hard enough when she was so dry it hurt my dick to fuck her. This isn't a bad thing at all. If it takes you a while to get wet, it's cool. Just don't fuck with my confidence because you're not feeling it or are too tired. Some women still have the view that men should spoil them and pay for the majority of things. If you fall short of the mark, you are cheap and are somehow not really interested. That you always need to be improving yourself even if you are comfortable and happy in your routine. If you exercise regularly and make a livable amount and I'm happy, I don't see why I need to keep changing things. I'm my own person and I'd never expect someone to constantly change or improve for me. I've been called toxic for just enjoying my own time in my flat and disliking social gatherings every weekend. You're expected to also fully love them for who they are. But you need to change. I do know, man, seems unfair. I just want to be able to break down in front of someone without judgment. But I fear judgment, so I never have. Edit. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking as much relationship. I'm not even in one, but in general have a fear. Though even if I did not, I most likely still not mention it in a relationship, lol. We need to be more in touch with our feelings or be more vulnerable or more expressive of our inner fears and neurosis, but then the moment we do that in front of women, they complain about it or find us unattractive as a result of it or lose respect for us and don't want to be around us afterwards. I feel like it's why so many men commit suicide, due to having virtually no one to express our anguish to. And we're taught at a young age to never bring up our emotional problems, and it creates this environment that's not very healthy for us overall. As a young guy who hears self-improvement and other stuff touted all the time, I must say this, prepare, this is going to be a bit ranty. Supposedly I have to lift heavy weights and get into Greek god shape to even hope to attract an average woman. She gets to eat whatever and not work out, and I have to accept her body as it is. Supposedly I have to lead every conversation and also be funny and interesting. but she can sit there giving one-word responses. Asterisk I have to be flirty and sexual but also not come off too direct. And everyone's definition of too direct is different. One girl's turn on is another girl's 911 call. Asterisk supposedly I'm weird if I play too many video games or watch too much anime, but she can binge watch some reality TV show on Netflix all day. Asterisk if she leaves me because I did one thing wrong, she's not a bad person. If I leave her because she cut her hair or something, then I'm a shallow asshole before any assumptions are made. Not all of this is from personal experience before you assume I'm bitter. Most of it is observations. But number 2 is the most personal. I'm 17M and it disheartens me how much I see the phenomenon of men being told they have to upheave their entire life and personality just for the hope of attracting an average woman. By the way, I'm not insinuating that anything above is true, just pointing out the double standard that people always say it to men. Except number 3 is true. Earning 6 figures, 6 feet high and 6-pack. From all I know, being 6 feet or above makes a man one of 14% of all men, in the US. Earning 6 figures is in all US states above the average. Having a 6-pack, yeah well it at least takes a lot of work, apart from your job, if not even certain genes like the thigh gap for women. That being said, these might be your standards, but you better make sure you are just as much above the average as the man you are looking for. There is this strange paradox about men being emotional, I reckon. If a man is a proper rock, never shows his emotions or talks about them, then he's emotionally unavailable and that's not cool. If a man shows his emotions and cries when he feels the need to, then he doesn't have his life together and that's not cool either. What women really have in mind when they talk about men's emotional intelligence is your ability to empathize with them, understand how they feel, tell them your impressions, etc. But you're not supposed to talk about your own emotional issues, and even less to expect to receive the same empathy, etc. that you gave them. In other words, it's about supporting them and others at the emotional level. They want a provider of emotions and of emotional support. I feel like women, 20 to 29, on dating apps decide whether it's worth keep talking to you or not based on the first 3 to 5 messages. Sometimes I feel like I don't even have time to open up. The role of parenting/caregiving for kids still slightly amazes me. It's still widely expected, in London at least, that after having children a father will provide. The potential goal would be for him to earn enough for his wife to be a stay-at-home parent, if she chooses. I think the idea that a man may want to take time off from career to look after kids or even to take shared parental leave is still far from being accepted by a lot of women. I understand it's a bit more difficult in practice with things like the gender pay gap, but I think the underlying expectations need to be adjusted.